Now I hand over the session to Mr. Nilesh to take it forward with other panel speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sangeeta. So I welcome all the audience here as well as my fellow panelists. And I thank Solar Quarters for organizing such a nice event, which will give us all insights on the impact of automation on renewables industry. Right. Uh, my initial thought is so before in the current scenario, when you have to scale up, you have to build efficiencies to the plants. You have to ensure that plants run for decades. We build plant not for just 1 decade or 2 decades, but for multiple decades, right? So it becomes very important that the perception that plants could be managed through manual intervention is not true. We have to bring in automation. All the sectors which has reached to the top has leveraged automation at its best. We can take IT, we can take telecom, we can take banking, or for that matter, any other sector, right? So let me start to have views from my fellow panelists on what is their opinion on the automation technologies and their impact. So let me first start with Piyush.
Automation has come now. So what is existing, we already see, we already know. I would like to throw some light on what is next in automation in the solar industry, which we might expect learning from different other domains, and those are basically from the computer sciences and from economics. And it is very interesting that we are going to implement some of the things which we are learning now in economics into solar in coming future. And the very interesting point of that will be in my discussion now. So coming to automation from the computer science point of view, we were, as Nilesh has highlighted, that we were so far thinking that the solar industry is only fabrication of equipments, put the equipments in a remote location and just tap the energy whatever way it is coming. We were not monitoring much. Now when the demand is increasing, when the demand for energy from different resources are adding up, so there are two choices in our hand we have now. Either we should increase the efficiencies of the plant, or we have to improve or we have to optimize the demand side, basically the consumption. And in both the ways, we have to adopt automation. So to increase the efficiencies of the plant, we are using a lot of stuff, analyzing the data from the plants, from the inverters, trying to reduce the mean time between failures by some near real-time analysis or predictions. Automation by using drone surveys, where we are trying to figure out the faults and trying to address it as soon as possible, these kind of things. The second thing which is kind of attracting me now, which I see a future in solar industry, is the optimization of the consumer behavior, consumer energy pattern. In this, I see the concepts of economics also coming into play. The most prominent which I'm seeing now is the game theory. Some time back, I was reading about this concept which the people have applied in the game theory, because basically game theory is what that there are different players who want to improve their they say it pay off, so they want to improve their scores, and the score of one player depends upon the performance of other player. So this similar concept is now coming into energy domain also, because there are multiple users in households, and there are multiple energy providers. So the efficiency of everybody has to be maximized at least up to an optimum level. So this is a scenario of a game theory. And to to implement this game theory, there are many approaches. One of the approaches which is already being used, and we all know from our day-to-day news browsings, and that is called blockchain. So how this concept is coming into energy. These concepts, as you know, that there are three pillars for the energy now we have in our hand. One is digitalization, the second is decarbonization, and the third is decentralization. We see at it as a three different words, but I see these all are quite intertwined, all quite in the absence of other two. So if you digitalize it, basically.
Now, automation could be done in various ways, right? So it could be done using robots. It could be done using drones. It could be done using drones. It could be done using IoT technologies. It could be implemented using technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? So let us understand how drones are being utilized for renewable industry. We see a lot of drone application in media industry, in forest industry, even in defense sector, right? But what are the implications of drones? So Viral, uh, if I request you to throw some light on what are your views on the adoption of drone technologies in renewables, and are we leveraging full potential of drone technologies in renewables? If we are,
Sure, Nilesh. Thanks. So, I think very pertinent point, and to take forward from where Piyush started. See, solar industry, if we see the life cycle of this industry as compared to something like a thermal power or allied other power industry, it's fairly new. It's hardly, you can say, a large scale, meaningful solar utility assets. They just started maybe from L&T, but we represent engineering and construction in India very synonymous with L&T, where huge machines, equipments, and all these are required for building any other infra assets, be it like roads, power transmission, and those things. So as compared to when you come to solar, the scale at which you are operating is fairly large, but the components that you are operating is much smaller. The BOQ of typical solar with respect to a thermal power plant, if you combine, like any power industry professional will say that, hey, solar is not at all something which gives them, say, uneasy, sleepless nights or things like that. Now, from that as an area, what are the levers that the automation can have for the whole project life cycle, right from project development, construction to an asset management perspective? So one of the immediate areas is you require huge large pieces of land and land parcel. And again, land is a challenging topic in India. So how do you, and with already close to 35 gigawatts already installed, where obviously the prime solar land, which is kind of used up. So for the next 75 gigawatts for 100 gigawatt target and something beyond that, how do you kind of go about scouting for those land parcels without having much right of way issues? Then going forward to the construction stage. So at a construction stage, how do you kind of do your PMC such that it is not a human based PMC, which obviously because of the large scale, you'll not be able to do a true justice to a project management at that scale. And since in solar, it is essentially one block, which is repeated lakhs and lakhs of the time. So that is something where you need to ensure that repeatability, something which is there in a factory kind of an atmosphere or a setup. How can you ensure that that repeatability which is done plant into operations is either it would be time taking or it would be too costly? So you need some of the automation tools which are there which can help you address this. Now, I mean, having said that, I think solar is one of the first industries. Like we started 2016, and almost across the three main life cycle which I said about solar, it has seen enough penetration, and also it has helped develop the growth of the industry, because in all these cases you have now the multiple choice. As moving forward into the new decade that we are coming into, what are the challenges with this moving forward along with the solar? Because say, conventionally, a lot of times when we talk off the record with the solar developers, which are people within the known domain, say that still after 10 years, there is not something meaningful either on an analytics domain or on the prescriptive detections domain that there is made of. The reason primarily is that the industry is very fragmented. Like, what I mean by fragmented is a solar module supplier is only supplying modules, and in fact, back-endedly, they are not also of integrating it back to the original data and then working on it is something which is very plausible.
Thank you, Viral, for further insight. So I understand that with the addition of sensors, a lot many use cases could be enabled using drone technologies.
Right.
Okay, so let us go from drones to another beautiful piece of automation. We all call it robotics, right? We have seen robotics in different forms and fashions. So, Amit, this question is for you. We have seen robots like Sophia, and we have seen robots like now Pepper and many other robots, Boston Dynamics robots, right? Do you see potential of robotics in renewables? Because we have seen mostly the humanoid robots, but do you see potential of robotics in renewables? And if yes, how is it going to impact the renewable industry? Over to you, Amit.
Yes, thanks for this interesting question. And I'm not able to see myself, but are you able to hear and see me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Yeah, that's good. We can think about the potential use cases. So, we all know that robots have a body, and then they have a kind of intelligence embodied in those. But the main thing is the real uses and the scenario in which those robots will be used. So in past, you might have seen these robots. Some robots have been used in very unstructured environment, like are possible once we will design the robot rightly with right level of communication and right kind of sensors, and at the same time bringing the right level of AI and autonomy. And also the combination of different technologies are very important, like AR, VR, or blockchain, or IoT. All these should be working together in a more coherent and consistent manner, so that these robots can be more useful, and perhaps they will be co-working or collaborative robots, which is basically industry 4.0 requirement as well, that robots should be working with us, for us. So I will stop here, and then I think we will have further questions and discussion on this topic. Yeah.
Thank you, Amit. Very interesting. You touched upon how robots could be used to reduce human workload, could be used in difficult terrain as well as difficult situations, like dangerous places, or where humans can't work comfortably, right? Could be used in material handling. I'm just waiting to see robots in action, robots building the RE plants and even managing them. That would be like wonderful to see. So thanks for sharing that invite, Amit. Now we have heard a lot about automation, drones, and then robotics and how this could be used, right? But let us now understand from one of my fellow panelists, Mr. Kiran.
Take this wonderful virtual platform to meet people around. I mean, during this tough time of this pandemic, and hopefully we will just come back to our normal life soon. Thanks, Nilesh, and thanks, fellow panelists. It was quite an energetic discussion. I mean, some amazing thought process. I mean, in fact, I mean, I would say this game theory is such a brilliant thought process. By the way, it's so nice to see people are just moving out of renewable energy spectrum to bring, I mean, different economics of scale. I mean, when we are just discussing about this. So What I will do is, I mean, we heard, I mean, a lot about automation, the robotics, drones, how automation can change the thing. I will try to throw some light on what exactly the ground scenario as of today, and what are the couple of challenges, I mean, in adopting all these technologies, and as an industry where we can just look, I mean, is there any light at the end of the tunnel, if any, before start of the tunnel, if any, before starting revenue generation, all these kind of things. So for this particular discussion, I would like to stay only with renewable energy. Then let us see, I mean, already my fellow panelists threw the light from other industry also. I will just stick with asset management. And traditionally, if you look, I mean, how the industry has been developed in India, or I mean, asset management has been shaped up in India, it is like O&M has got, I mean, two aspects to it. One is the OPEX, every quarter or I mean year, I have to write a check to my OEM. They will service my plant. In case of solar, I mean, whoever I'm appointing will service my plant. Again, I have to write a check. The next one is a generation piece. So I have, I mean, certain estimate at the beginning of my construction. I will always see whether I'm reaching P90 or I mean P75 or I mean whatever I have just committed to my bankers and investors, where I'm reaching there. So this has been my this has been the journey of this industry for last 15 years, ever since the industry has been matured, I would say. When it is coming to automation or I mean data analytics or technology, I would say we are one of the the slow starters as renewable energy industry. I mean, why I am saying this, when I joined this system, I think quite something is missing. I mean, as a renewable energy asset owner, I think we lack exploring the total value. I mean, we don't know, I mean, where the actual value will be unlocked. I think that is, I mean, say data collection process is there, data segmentation, I mean, segregation. I think the integration is something that is not happened yet. So any of these technologies, I mean, for this, I mean, we used to have these drone technologies, or I mean the robotics, or I mean the data analytics technologies, lidars we used to use for I mean wind measurements. We used to have, I mean, lidars on top of nacelle of wind turbine to see the direction and adjust the position of the turbine according to that. But if you see, I mean, all these things are already integrated to my business, or I mean it reached a place where I mean I can unlock some sort of value out of that, I would say we are not there. The reason being is, I mean, typically I'm sure the people working in robotics and drone will understand how difficult, I mean, for them to go and convince a IPP or I mean, EPC partner to see, what is the value of this particular technology that can bring, I mean, to your system. Two things, I mean, I would say, any nascent system will have a initial setup cost. I mean, gradually when the technology is kind of improving, that cost will just flatten down. The second thing is, up to this point, this industry never, Andhra Pradesh or dusra site hai na, kitna log hai? They will say, sir, 32 people. Okay, 32 hai na? Either it is 50% more. So I have to have 48 people. But what exactly the difference these kind of things can bring is, even if I have, I mean, 32 people, whether I am actually getting the service what I am supposed to do, no question, no answer. If I have a bulgari cases reported, what can happen? The insurance cost can go up in the next year. So it has got a vicious circle, All these kind of things will be able to handle, or I mean, kind of mitigate if I am using these technologies, I mean, properly. I mean, we are not there because, I mean, still I would say this industry as a whole not move to that millennial stage. We are, I mean, still would like to be comfortable with Excel sheet and email chain rather than using, any other sensor-based approach, or I mean the data-based approach. I mean, a simple case. I mean, the power of mobile phones has not been untapped, I mean, in this industry yet. Every single technician who is, I mean, going to service a solar farm inverter or I mean a wind turbine has got a mobile phone. But if you just ask what exactly the value you are unlocking out of mobile phone, it will be less than 5%. Other than running, I mean, 3 apps, forcing us to just look for the, possible ways to reduce the cost, to just look for the possible in last couple of years. And again, I said, I mean, typical example is Meru. If you see, it was so comfortable, I mean, people to travel in Meru, paying 19 rupees per kilometer, till a business model called Uber or Ola has been evolved. Suddenly we understood, the real value, the business has been untapped, and I can travel for 6 rupees per kilometer. I'm sure we are not too far from there. Obviously, there are, I mean, certain last mile hurdles to be mitigated. Like as I said, I mean, the initial setup cost is one. There are, I mean, certain, I won't say bureaucratic, but I mean, policy related things, even for drone. I mean, in case if I need to fly a drone, especially if my plants are sensitive areas, I need to have, I mean, certain permission. I'm sure, I mean, the government is working on a policy for that. There are, I mean, these are all, I mean, small things, I mean, in the entire gamut of the system. Data security is another very important thing. Lot of, fragmented instruments are connected. Lot of data points I'm just getting, whether all these things are secured or not. I mean, because everything at the end of the day, I mean, going to grid. And if somebody can really tap into the grid, I mean, that will be the biggest mischievous thing we can expect. So I'm sure, I mean, on a short run, we are going to find a solution for all these things. And if this industry has to move forward, I think this is the only way, I mean, this industry can go. Only by reducing the cost, especially on the operating assets, and by increasing the efficiency. I mean, increasing the every.
To differentiate, or we have to grow based on innovation as one of the pillar, right? And that's the reason from the day one, we have a dedicated innovation team, and not just dedicated innovation team, but also a focused digital transformation team. So what we are doing is, many of the things you talked about, those challenges, we also face those challenges, but we are trying to bring in 100% automation to achieve, to improve plant efficiencies, to reduce cost, and to enhance safety, right? How do we see value out of it? So I would like to share a case here. After our first plant, all our plants are with 100% robotic cleaning systems, right? So we have robots to clean the modules, right? So apart from first plant, all other plants are with robotic cleaning. Initially, everyone thought that it's a lot of capex, but see, when this pandemic came, it has helped us a lot, because we don't require a lot of manpower at the site to clean the modules or to do many other activities, right? So eventually, when the time is right, it actually gave us the value we were looking for, right? And the same happened with other technologies like IoT. We are experimenting with a lot of IoT solutions within our plan to see how we can optimize the security, how we can use the data analytics. First, we also have to think on how we are going to get the data for analytics. Are we thinking of edge analytics, or are we thinking of deep analytics, right? So in any case, whether we talk of statistical analysis, deep learning methodologies, or edge analytics, right? We need data, and we also need data communication. We need data security. Eventually, any benefit we will get, or any value we will derive out of system, when we will map the correct use case, define the right solution, which could be a mix of multiple technologies, and then implement in pilots to see the actual value coming out of those solutions, tweak those solutions to bring the actual benefits which the user wants, and finally then roll it out on a mass scale, so that we can get the benefits we are looking out for, or the value we are looking out for, right? So within our organization, we are trying a lot of solutions in robotics, drones, machine learning, AI. We have scanned the entire globe to an extent we can, to figure out how many players are there who can support us in analytics for solar and wind, right? Not just the basic analytics, but deep partners, but the kind of domain expertise and the solutions we are looking for. The I would call it the brain. I would call it the brain for renewable energy, right? Brain for renewable energy, right? Renewable energy, right? The analytics brain for renewable energy. Now we are developing that on our own, organic development. So a lot of developments are going on in the industry in terms of artificial intelligence, combining the domain knowledge with the technical know-how of artificial intelligence and machine learning, using a combination of artificial intelligence and robotics, using a combination of image analytics and drones, and then see a slow start. But now I think the industry is picking up fast, and you rightly pointed out the cost pressures, the PPA rates, and the durability of the plants is forcing all the developers to look into all these new technologies and to adopt automation to make sure that we build a efficient, long-lasting plant for the organization as well as for the country, because it eventually helps in the national energy security forms and by various industries. So today, renewables has started using robotics for cleaning, but I'm looking forward to see how robotics could be used in other use cases during the construction phase or during the pre-construction phase. That would be pretty interesting to understand and see robots working in the field and working cohesively along with humans, interacting with humans and bringing efficiencies to the plant or reducing time to construct and so on and so forth. And the last point which my friend Kiran pointed out, that although we had a slow start, but we are now the pace we are now taking up is fast, and slowly we will come up to the speed. And you rightly pointed out, we have a lot of power in our hands through the mobile phones, right? And probably leveraging this power itself, we have to figure that out. So that's it from my side. I think we are
Right, sir. Right, sir. So, well, sir, as of now, we haven't received any queries from the audience as such. So that means that you have already covered all the points that audience were hoping to. So let's give a 5 minute time to the audience. If they have any questions, they can keep posting on the discussion box, which is available on your right hand corner. Attendees.
In the discussion forum. So, Nilesh, could you see that
yeah.
and maybe?
So meanwhile, you go ahead with the questions. You can just or look at the questions once. I will go ahead launching the polls meanwhile for the audience.
So
So attendees, I have opened up few questions for you. So attendees, I have opened up few questions for you. You can start voting in those polls. Requesting all the speakers to kindly mute themselves. There is a lot of disturbance happening. Thank you. So audience, this is for you. We have opened up few polls for you. You can start voting on those polls. So Nilesh sir, meanwhile, you can go ahead taking up any questions if you have in the discussion box towards your right hand corner.
right, to reduce the human labor. And yes, the industry is open to experiment, right? So obviously we are also looking for how can we use automation technologies to reduce human labor in the scenarios where we have to do a heavy lifting, do some dangerous task, or if someone has to work in 50 degrees centigrade, right? Obviously, doing an automation or a robotic system there makes sense. So we are looking out for those kinds of solutions from the robotics industry